Princess Nira stood on the balcony of the great palace. Below her, the city of Zelar shone with tall buildings and soft lights. The sky was clear, but far away. Many stars blinked like tiny fires. Among those stars was a fleet of human ships. They were large and strong, moving slowly toward the Zolari home world. Nira's heart was steady, but her mind was busy. She knew the humans had come here for a reason. Her people, the Zolari, had lived on this planet for many centuries. They were proud and peaceful, but also ready to defend their home if needed. The humans had great power and many ships, but so did the Zolari. Her father, King Aaron, had taught her well, stand strong. But listen first, he always said. Nira had learned to be a leader who was both brave and wise. Today, she had to use all her skills. The human fleet had stopped just outside Zelara's space border. No ships had attacked, but their presence was clear. The Zolari watchers reported every move. Nira's advisors spoke in low voices, worried about what the humans wanted. "Your Highness," said Marek, her chief advisor, "they have not sent any message. This silence is strange. They may want to test our defenses." Nira shook her head. "Or they may be afraid to speak first. We must be ready for anything, but not rush to war." Her younger brother, Leon, looked at the sky with wide eyes. "Why did they come here, sister? Are they enemies?" Nira smiled gently. "Not always, Leon. Sometimes others come to learn, to share. But we must hold our ground. Our people trust me to protect them." The Zolari had strong ships and powerful weapons. Their technology was advanced but different from humans. The Zolari valued balance with nature, and their cities grew around the great forests and rivers of their planet. Their warriors were trained not just in battle, but in respect and honor. In the command room of the palace, Nira watched the screens carefully. The human ships made no aggressive moves. A small shuttle left the fleet and moved slowly toward the Zolari space station. It was a sign. The humans wanted to talk. Nira called her council. "Prepare a team to meet their envoy," she said. "We will greet them with respect, but we will not show weakness." Her people were nervous. Some thought the humans would attack without warning. Others hoped for friendship. Nira knew this moment was important. The future of her people might change because of what happened next. At the space station, the shuttle docked with soft sounds. The hatch opened and a human stepped out. He was tall and wore a simple uniform. His face was calm and kind. His name was Tom. Tom had traveled many light years to reach the Zolari. He was chosen as an ambassador because he was brave but also gentle. His mission was to find a way for humans and Zolari to live peacefully. He knew the Zolari were proud and strong. He knew he had to be careful. When Tom first met Princess Nira, he bowed respectfully. Nira returned the gesture, her eyes studying him closely. Neither spoke harsh words. Instead, they shared quiet looks full of questions and hope. Tom said, "Princess Nira, I come with no weapons. Humans want to learn about your world and to share what we know." Nira replied, "Many stars watch us now. We have lived here for long. We protect this place. Why should we trust humans?" Tom smiled softly. "Because we do want peace. Our worlds can be friends, not enemies. I hope you will see this." Days passed as Tom and Nira talked about their people, their histories, and their hopes. Nira was surprised by how much Tom cared. He did not speak like a conqueror, but like someone who wanted to build bridges. But not all Zolari were so sure. Some leaders whispered that humans could trick them. Some warriors sharpened their weapons, waiting for a sign of battle. One night, Nira stood again on her balcony. The human ships glowed gently in the distance. She felt the weight of her people's future on her shoulders. Her father's words came back to her. "Stand strong, but listen first." Nira made a choice. She would hold her ground, protecting her people. But she would also listen, because sometimes a new friend could come from the most unexpected place. The stars were silent watchers. But in the heart of the Zolari princess, a small hope began to grow. The days after the arrival of the human ambassador were full of quiet tension. Princess Nira watched carefully. Tom was not like the warriors or leaders she knew. He walked with calm steps, spoke softly, and always looked at her with honest eyes. One morning, Tom asked to visit the great library of Zelara. He said he wanted to learn about the history of the Zalari people. Nira agreed to take him there herself. The library was a huge building filled with tall shelves and glowing books. The air smelled of old paper and calmed out as they walked through the quiet halls. Nira told Tom stories of her people. She spoke about the old wars, the peaceful times, and the care they gave to their world. Tom listened with great interest. Your people have a strong heart, Tom said. I see why you stand firm. Nira looked at him. And your people? What makes you different from others who come to take what they want? Tom smiled gently. We have many sides, like your people. Some want to fight, some want peace. I hope we can choose peace together. The days passed, and Nira found herself curious about Tom. He asked questions that showed he cared about more than just power. He asked about Zalari families, their music, and even their food. One afternoon, Nira took Tom to see the great river that ran through her city. The water was clear and cool, surrounded by tall trees. Children played near the shore, their laughter light and happy. Tom watched the children and said, On my world, children play like this too. They dream of exploring the stars. Nira smiled. Then maybe your people and mine have more in common than we thought. But not everyone felt this way. In the council room, many Zalari leaders whispered among themselves. Some were afraid that Tom's kindness was a trick. Marek, Nira's chief advisor, spoke quietly to her one day. Princess, you trust this human too much. We do not know what his people truly want. We must prepare for the worst. Nira answered, Marek, I hear your words. But if we do not try to understand, how will we find peace? We must hold our ground, yes? But we must also open our hearts carefully. Marek frowned but did not argue. He knew Nira's wisdom was strong. One evening, as the stars lit the sky, Nira and Tom stood on a quiet balcony. The wind was soft, and the city lights twinkled below. Tom said, Princess, I know you have a hard choice. Your people expect you to protect them. But I ask you to see beyond fear. Together, we can build a future where our people share knowledge, strength, and hope. Nira looked at him. It is not easy to change what many have believed for a long time. But I feel something in your words, a hope that maybe we can be more than enemies. Tom smiled. That hope is real. It starts with us. Suddenly, a warning. Alarm sounded. The council room called Nira urgently. She followed quickly. The screen showed a small ship moving fast toward the Zalari border. A known vessel approaching. Said Marek, could be an enemy scout. Nira's heart beat faster. She sent orders to alert the defense forces. But as the ship came closer, a familiar symbol appeared. It was a human exploration vessel, not a warship. The ship sent a message. This is the human explorer Aaron. We come with peaceful intentions. Nira breathed a little easier. She ordered the gates to open. Aaron's captain came aboard. He was young and respectful. He said, We heard about the ambassador Tom. We want to support peace between our people. Nira saw hope growing. She spoke to the captain. Then you understand why we must be cautious. We have many who still fear war. The captain nodded. I do. But peace grows from trust. We are willing to prove our words with actions. Over the next days, the human explorers and Zalari began to meet more often. They shared stories, music, and even meals. The Zalari showed their warriors how to use their advanced shields, and the humans shared their knowledge of space travel. Nira watched as her people slowly began to change. The fear in their eyes softened. The walls between them grew smaller. One day, Tom invited Nira to visit a human training ground. It was a large area with machines and tests of skill. Human warriors practiced with care and discipline. Nira saw that humans had their own kind of strength, brave, but not cruel. After the visit, Tom said, Strength is not just power. It is also kindness, trust, and courage. Nira nodded. I see that now, but our journey is only beginning. The sun set over Zelara, painting the sky with colors of hope. Nira felt the weight of her choice. She could hold her ground and protect her people, but she could also open a new path where a bold human had already changed everything. The calm of the Zolari world did not last long. News came from the outer systems. The Krath were moving closer. They were fierce, with sharp ships and many fighters. They attacked planets without warning and took what they wanted. Both Zolari and humans knew the danger was real. Princess Nira stood before her council again. Her face was calm, but her eyes burned with determination. The Krath threatened not only our world but the whole region, she said. We must prepare to defend ourselves. Marek, her chief advisor, nodded. We have the strength to fight alone, but the humans can offer help if we accept it. Nira looked at the faces around the table. Some were still unsure. The idea of trusting humans was new and difficult for many Zolari. Tom stepped forward. We understand your fears, but the Krath attack all who stand in their way. If we fight divided, we will fall one by one. Together, we can be stronger. Nira's voice was steady. Then we will combine our forces. We will show the galaxy that we stand united. The decision was made. Humans and Zolari began working side by side. Soldiers from both races trained together. They shared tactics, technology, and hoped out the human ships brought new tools, strong shields, fast repairs, and careful strategies. The Zolari warriors taught the humans their fighting spirit and skill with their unique weapons. Nira watched the progress with pride. The fear that had filled her people slowly changed into confidence. But the threat of the Krath was not far away. Scouts reported that the enemy fleet was moving fast, heading straight for the Zolari homeworld. One night, as the stars blinked quietly above, Nira met Tom on the palace balcony. The Krath will be here soon, she said softly. Our people look to me for strength. Tom placed a hand gently on her shoulder. You are strong, Nira. Together, we will face whatever comes. The first attack came before dawn. The sky lit up with flashes of light as the Krath ships fired their weapons. The Zolari defense fleet moved quickly, joined by human ships, forming a shield around the planet. Nira stood in the command room, watching the battle unfold. The war was loud and fast. Ships moved like lightning, firing beams of energy and dodging attacks. The Krath were fierce and skilled. They wanted to break through and take the planet, but the Zolari and humans fought back with everything they had. Tom's voice came over the comms. Hold your positions, protect the cities, focus fire on the enemy leaders. Nira felt her heart beat faster. She knew this fight was more than just battle, it was a test of trust and unity. The warriors on the ground were brave. Zolari soldiers moved with grace and power, while humans used their machines and tools to help. Together, they formed a strong line of defense. Hours passed like this, with bursts of fighting and quiet moments. The Krath tried again and again, but the united fleet pushed them back. Finally, the enemy ships began to retreat. Their leader sent a warning. This is not over. We will return. Nira breathed deeply. The fight was won, but the war was not finished. She looked at Tom. Your people fought well. Without you, this day would be lost. Tom smiled, tired but proud. Your people were just as brave. This victory belongs to both of us. After the battle, the Zolari and humans gathered to honor their fighters. Nira spoke to her people. Today, we showed what strength means, not just weapons or power, but trust and friendship. Together, we can protect what we love. Her words were met with cheers and hope. Many who had doubted now saw a new future. But Nira knew the path ahead would still have challenges. The Krath would return, and peace was still fragile. She looked up at the stars, feeling the weight of her responsibility, but with Tom by her side and her people united, she believed they could face whatever the galaxy sent next. The alien princess held her ground, not just with courage, but with a new kind of strength, the strength to trust, to unite, and to hope. The morning after the battle, the Zolari and humans prepared for what they knew was coming. The Krath would not give up easily. They would return with more ships and fiercer attacks. Princess Nira walked through the city, watching her people. They were tired but full of hope. The fight had shown them something new, that they could stand together. Nira met Tom in the command center. The room was filled with maps and glowing screens. Soldiers from both Solari and human forces worked side by side, planning their next moves. Tom looked at the map. The Krath are gathering near the outer moons. They will try to attack again soon. Nira nodded. We must be ready, this time. We will not just defend. We will show them our true strength. The plan was simple but brave. Instead of waiting for the Krath to come, the United Fleet would move out and face them on the moons. It was risky, but it could stop the enemy before they reached the planet. The soldiers trained hard. Solari warriors practiced their sword skills. In energy shields, human pilots prepared their ships and weapons. Both groups learned from each other, growing stronger every day. Nira spoke to the warriors. Remember, you fight not just for yourselves, but for all who call this place home. Trust your friends beside you, and together you will be unstoppable. The day of the battle came quickly. The sky was dark with the shadows of ships. The Krath fleet was larger this time, their ships sharp and fast. Nira stood on the bridge of the flagship. Her face was calm but full of determination. Tom was beside her, ready to lead the human forces. The battle began with bright flashes and loud sounds. Ships moved in fast, firing beams and dodging attacks. The Krath were fierce, but the Solari and humans fought with courage and skill. Nira watched as Solari warriors and small fighters weaved through the enemy ships. Human pilots used their speed and technology to outmaneuver the Krath. The two forces worked together like never before. During the fight, a Krath ship tried to break through the line. To attack the planet directly, Nira ordered a group of fighters. To stop it, the pilots moved quickly, blocking the enemy with brave maneuvers. Tom coordinated the defense, sending reinforcements where they were needed most. The battle was long and hard. Many ships were damaged, and some warriors were injured. But the unity between the Solari and humans was strong. Slowly, the Krath began to retreat again. Their leader sent another warning. This battle is lost, but we will return with greater force. Nira felt a mixture of relief and worry. They had won the fight, but the war was not over. After the battle, the Solari and human leaders held a meeting. They talked about their next steps and how to keep their people safe. Tom said, "This victory shows what we can do when we work together. But we must prepare even more. The Krath will not stop." Nira agreed. "We will strengthen our defenses and deepen our alliance. Our people must trust each other fully." As the days passed, the bond between the Solari and humans grew. They shared stories, food, and songs. Children from both peoples played together in the streets. Laughing and learning, Nira saw that the future was changing. The fear and mistrust were fading, replaced by hope and friendship. One evening, Nira and Tom stood on a hill overlooking the city. The stars shone brightly above. Tom said, "I never imagined we could become such good friends." Nira smiled. "Neither did I, but sometimes courage and kindness can change everything." They looked at the sky, knowing that challenges remain, but together they were ready to face them. The alien princess held her ground with strength and hope, knowing that one bold human had helped change the course of their history. The weeks after the battle were filled with hard work and hope. The Solari and humans continued to build their alliance. Their friendship grew stronger. But challenges remained. Some Solari still doubted the humans. Some humans worried if the Solari could truly trust them. Princess Nira understood these worries. She knew that building peace was not easy. It required patience, courage, and honesty. One morning, Nira called a meeting of the council. The room was full of Solari leaders, some still uncertain. Tom was invited as a guest. Nira spoke clearly. "We have faced a great danger together. The Krath have been stopped for now. But our real test is to build a lasting peace." Marek, her chief advisor, spoke next. "Many Solari fear that trusting humans may bring new risks. We must be careful." Tom nodded. "I understand your fears, but my people want to learn from you, not harm you. We must find ways to work as one." Nira looked around the room. "Trust will take time, but we must start. I ask each of you to join me in a new council where humans and Zalari make decisions together. The room was silent for a moment. Then a few leaders nodded. Slowly, more agreed. The new council was formed. This council worked hard to share ideas, solve problems, and build plans for the future. They created programs to help both peoples learn from each other. Zalari teachers taught their language and history to humans. Human scientists shared their technology and knowledge of space. Nira and Tom spent many hours together, planning and dreaming. They believed their people could become strong friends, not just allies in war. One day, Nira invited Tom to visit the sacred forest near the palace. The trees were tall and old. The air smelled fresh and calm. Nira said, "This forest is special to my people. It teaches us to be patient and strong." Tom looked around and smiled. "I see why. It feels peaceful." Here, they walked quietly. Then Tom asked, "Princess, what do you fear most for your people?" Nira thought for a moment. "I fear losing who we are, our culture, our ways. I want to protect that while opening to new friends." Tom nodded. "That is why we must walk together carefully, respecting each other's past, building a new future." As the days passed, the Zalari and humans faced small challenges. Some Zalari warriors tested human technology and training. Some humans struggled to understand Zalari customs, but every challenge was met with patience and respect. Then, one day, a message arrived from a distant world. It was a call for help from a small planet under attack by the Krath. The planet was weak and needed aid. Nira and Tom knew this was their chance to prove their new alliance. "We will send a joint force to help them," Nira said. "Together, we protect those who cannot protect themselves." The council agreed. Soldiers and ships were prepared. Zalari and human forces moved out, united in mission and heart. As they traveled, Nira thought about how far they had come, from fear and doubt to trust and courage. A new story was being written, one of friendship and strength. The alien princess held her ground with wisdom and hope, and one bold human stood beside her, ready to face whatever the future held. The joint fleet of Zalari and humans moved steadily toward the small planet under attack. Both peoples were ready to protect those who could not defend themselves. Princess Nira stood on the bridge of the flagship, looking at the stars ahead. Beside her, Tom prepared the human ships for the coming fight. "This is more than a battle," Nira said quietly. "It is a chance to show the galaxy what we can do together." Tom nodded. "We carry the hope of two peoples." As they approached the planet, they saw the damage caused by the Krath. Cities were burning, and people were hiding. The Krath ships still hovered, ready to attack. Nira gave the order to begin the rescue. Zalari and human ships moved quickly, protecting the planet and helping the people below. The soldiers worked with skill and care. The Krath attacked fiercely, but the united forces stood strong. The battle was hard, but this time, the Zalari and humans fought not just to defend their homes, but to save others. Nira watched as warriors from both sides helped the planet's people escape danger. She saw the faces of children, tired but safe. Her heart filled with hope. After many hours, the Krath began to retreat once more. Their leader's voice came over the comms. "You have won this day, but the war is not over." Nira answered, "Then we will be ready." The victory was celebrated by all. The people of the small planet thanked their new protectors. Zalari and humans stood together, proud and strong. Back on Zelara, Nira and Tom met with their council. The new alliance was now more than words, it was action. "We have shown the galaxy that peace and strength can live side by side," Nira said. "We will continue to build this future." Tom smiled. "And we will stand together, no matter what comes next." The years passed, and the friendship between Zalari and humans grew deeper. They explored new worlds, shared knowledge, and helped others. The galaxy began to change. Princess Nira became a symbol of courage and wisdom. Tom was known as the bold human who dared to reach out together. They inspired others to believe in peace and unity. One day, Nira and Tom stood again on the palace balcony, watching the stars. "Do you think our people will ever forget the past?" Nira asked. Tom looked at her and said, "Maybe not, But they will remember the future we built together. Nira smiled, and that future is bright. The alien princess had held her ground with courage and hope. One bold human had changed everything, and their story was only the beginning. Princess Mira sat quietly in the small room of her spaceship. Outside, the stars shined bright. She looked at the many lights on the control panel. The ship was moving fast toward a new planet. This planet was called Earth. It was far from her home, the peaceful planet Velora. Mira's heart beat with a mix of hope and fear. She hoped the peace talks would help her people. But she was not sure what to expect. Mira was young but strong. She had learned many things as a princess. Her people trusted her to bring peace. The leaders of Velora wanted to stop the long war. With other planets, this was her chance to make a change, but traveling to Earth was dangerous. Some ships had disappeared near this place. Mira kept calm and told herself to stay strong. Suddenly, the ship shook. Mira grabbed the armrest of her chair. The lights on the panel blinked wildly. Something hit the ship. Mira's face did not show fear, only focus. She tried to find the problem. The ship's screen showed an alert. A known signal detected. Ship caught an energy field. The ship stopped moving forward. Mira looked out the window. She saw a large, strange shape in space. It looked like a net made of light. The ship was trapped inside. Mira stood up and walked to the door. She pressed a button and called her crew. But no one answered. She was alone. The ship's voice said, "Warning, unauthorized boarding detected." Before Mira could react, the door opened with a loud sound. A man stepped inside. He wore a strange uniform with many pockets. His face was calm but strong. Mira had never seen a human before, but she knew this was a soldier. The man held a small device that shone with blue light. Mira raised her hands. Slowly, "I'm Princess Mira of Velora," she said. Her voice was steady. "I come for peace." The soldier looked at her with clear eyes. "I'm Leo, a soldier of Earth," he said. "You are not allowed here. You must come with me." Mira did not move. She kept her calm. She saw that Leo was not angry. He was just doing his job. She knew she had to stay calm and find a way to explain her mission. "Please," Mira said. Softly, "I come in peace. I want to talk with your leaders. There's a war in my world. We want to stop it." Leo looked at her for a long moment. Then he nodded slowly. "I will take you to the commander. But you must follow my orders." Mira followed Leo through the ship. The walls were cold and gray. The lights were bright and white. Mira felt strange. But she did not show it. She held her head high, like a princess should. They reached a big room where a man sat behind a desk. He wore a uniform with many badges. He looked serious and strong. Leo spoke to him quietly. Then the man looked at Mira. "Princess Mira," he said, "you are far from home. Why should we trust you?" Mira took a deep breath. She looked the man in the eyes. "Because we want peace. Because our people are tired of war. Because I believe we can learn from each other." The commander thought for a moment. Then he said, "We will listen, but you must stay here until we know more." Mira nodded. She knew this was not a prison, but she felt the weight of being a captive. She sat down on a chair and looked around. The room was simple, but it had large windows that showed the stars. Leo stayed near the door. He did not speak much, but Mira could see he was watching her carefully. She decided to try to learn about him. "Why do you serve, Leo?" she asked quietly. Leo looked surprised. He paused before he answered. "I want to protect my people. I want to keep Earth safe." Mira smiled softly. "That is a noble goal." Leo looked at her differently now. He was not just a soldier. He was a man with hope and fear. Mira felt a small connection. The night passed slowly. Mira thought about her home and her mission. She wanted to find a way to make Leo trust her. She wanted to find peace not just for Velora, but for Earth. Next morning, Mira was brought to a larger room where other leaders waited. They looked at her with mixed feelings, some curious, some unsure. Mira stood tall. "I come with a simple wish," she said. "Let us talk and find a way to live in peace." The leaders whispered to each other. Mira saw hope in their eyes. She knew this was only the beginning of a long journey.